Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I am so excited for today's episode because I am interviewing a very talented, funny actress that I grew up watching on the underrated classic sitcom Empty's Nest, and I'm talking about Park Overall. Yes, Park Overall, who played the wisecracking nurse Laverne on Empty Nest. I'm having her on the show today to talk about the show. She also played Rowena, the prostitute, in Biloxi Blues, and she was in movies like Mississippi Burning, Kindergarten Cop, Vibes, and so many different other roles. And now she is currently a politician, I believe, in her hometown of Tennessee. And I'm having her on the show today to talk about all that stuff, and I can't wait. It's been a long time coming. So, here is my interview with Park Overall. Hey, Park.
Hello, darling. Did I wake you up?
Not at all.
Oh, okay, good.
I was doing a podcast before you called. Like, I had just ended like a minute before, and I was like, oh god, I need to take a little break.
Oh, good. Okay, well, we have this east-west thing. Where are you?
Redding, California.
Oh, Redding. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's 3 hours different.
Mm-hmm. Where are you at?
East Tennessee.
I figured you were in Tennessee. I thought there was a 2-hour difference, not 3 hour.
Oh, it's 3 hours. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah?
Well, it's such an honor. Thank you for finally taking the time.
I had a heart attack, so that sort of put us on a new schedule, didn't it?
Yeah. Are you okay, though?
Oh, yes, I'm okay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've had a heart attack. It's no fun.
Yeah, how old are you?
36. It was part of a car accident, though.
Oh my goodness. Well, mine was a blessing because if I hadn't had a surgery that went haywire, I wouldn't have had the heart attack, in which case we found out I needed a stent. So it all went as it should.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't go as it should, but because it didn't go as it should, it probably saved my life. So.
Yeah, I have a stent too, and.
You do?
Yeah.
At your age, that's just wild. You better eat right.
Ugh, I haven't eaten right the last couple of years because the doctor told me that depression was going to set in, and when I get depressed, I eat. But I got to start. I'm on a diet now, so I've lost a lot of weight.
Well, good. I lost. It took a heart attack for me to lose my weight. And do you know when I go out and about, people recognize me now. I'm not a fat girl, and so I'm back to camera weight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, going back in time, did you fall in love with acting early on?
Fall in love with acting. Did I fall in love with acting? No. It's just what I wanted to do. I first wanted to be a marine biologist, but I couldn't pass biology. So it's just something I wanted to do. And I did. And I was very fortunate to get to do that. I guess I was in love with great actors. Guess who one of my favorites is? She'll just die.
Who?
Wilfred Brimley.
Wilfred Brimley, I love him.
I ran into him in a parking lot and tried to open my mouth and nothing came out. He didn't notice.
I saw him at a horror convention 2 years ago. I wanted to meet him, but his line was out the door.
At a what convention?
A horror convention.
Wilfred Brimley?
Yeah, because he was in John Carpenter's The Thing.
No, I didn't know he was in John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And his line was out the door. Good. The other people see what I see. He's great.
Yeah, I love him. I was reading that you were part of a children's theater group.
Oh, that's where I started, yeah.
Yeah, any good stories about that?
Yeah, my story about that is we used to have a mental institution here for the, I'm sorry, I don't know the politically correct word.
That's okay.
Mentally disabled, but in those days we called them retarded.
Yes.
And we went to that. A lawsuit closed it down. The lawsuit took 20 years, and they put all these people were moved, hundreds of people and hundreds of jobs were moved out of here, and the whole facility sits empty now.
Mm-hmm.
And they were retarded, and they were moved into group homes due to a lawsuit. But anyway, when we did that first thing I ever did, we went there and did a play, did our children's play for those people. And those people were riveted. I mean, I'll never forget how interested they were in our play. And it really was something. They were what we called at the time higher functioning, but still, they were riveted, and it was a beautiful thing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had something like that in the Bay Area where I'm from. You know, if there had been, I would have had a better start in acting and stuff. But unfortunately, they never had, any disabled children's theater stuff.
Well, it was the guy who was doing it. Guy Priester was his name. He's the one that did it and thought of it, and we took it around, and we did all this for free. I wasn't paid for any of that back in the beginning, and
right.
those were glorious times. That was really cool. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Nobody ever asked about that.
Oh, of course, that caught my eye.
Yeah.
So after you did that, then you moved to New York?
I did. That was very hard. That was hard. That's a very, in the South, you're taught to be polite. They don't teach them that in New York.
Yeah.
That was hard. That was really hard. And I fell in with a great group. Robert Perrin, who passed, and Zeus Spears gave me my first job. And we even played bars and stuff. We did the 18th Street Playhouse, and that's where I met the great Michael Kingman.
Mm-hmm. And
Michael Kingman became one of New York's best agents within a few years. Michael Kingman wore flannel shirts with silk ties, and I think it was a Mets ball cap. And might have been New York. I've never been a sports girl. He'd kill me. He'd turn in his grave if I got it wrong. But he was a product of his father,
mm-hmm.
his sister. And, he sure was. And he was nuts. And he'd get people on the phone, and they'd just let his people into auditions. Michael was something. He really was.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any classmates who went on to become famous?
Huh?
Did you have any classmates that went on to become famous in the acting classes you took in New York?
No, but Dale Dickey was in my college. I went to the University of Tennessee off and on, and Dale Dickey
mm-hmm.
in my, yeah, Yeah, Dale sure did. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, small world.
Hmm. Your first movie was Tainted?
Yeah. That's the worst movie you'll ever see. If you can find it anywhere, it's worth it. It's so bad.
I saw it once, like, years ago, like 15 years ago or something.
Oh, it's good for you. I don't know where you found that. It was bad. But I enjoyed every minute of that. I loved it.
Yeah, Sherry Shattuck. What was she like?
Well, was she like a very, very, very rich, beautiful girl? And that's what she was like. I don't know how she was that wealthy, but she was. I don't know what her daddy did. But she was wildly wealthy and wildly beautiful.
Yeah, one of her acting teachers has been on the podcast. I just found out recently, and I thought that was pretty surreal.
What?
Oh, the fact that I've interviewed one of her acting teachers and didn't even know it.
Oh, that is interesting. Who was it?
Kate McGregor Stewart.
I wouldn't know. I'm sort of out of that loop now. I'm an environmentalist now, so I don't keep up. Kate McGregor Stewart. I just don't know who that is. Should I?
She must have been in L.A. by the time you got to New York. But she was in New York for a lot of years, acting and teaching acting, and then she came out to L.A. and was a working actress and still is to this day. She just did a Coen Brothers movie.
Oh, fabulous!
Yeah, she taught. She's been teaching Marissa Tomei for 35 years.
Marissa's good. I think Marissa's really good.
Oh yeah, have you ever worked with her?
No, but I just really enjoy her work.
Yeah, she's one of the greats. Very underrated. I feel.
Well, I don't know. I think people realize how great she is. The media just doesn't cover her as they should. They're on to the new girl, They're on to the latest girl,
Yeah.
They don't pay attention to the older women, and that's just the truth. That's just the truth.
The Jennifer Lawrences of today and all that, yeah.
Yes, but she's awfully good. That's one of my favorite movies. If not my favorite, is Silver Linings Playbook.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that movie. And I think Robert De Niro is so great in that.
Oh, he's great.
I think it's the greatest performance. I mean that.
Wow.
Loved him in that.
He's been great in everything, but wow, to say that's his greatest performance, that's really generous.
I think it's his greatest. I'm a movie and TV snob. Okay, I'm the worst. So I got Netflix, which has changed my life.
Yeah.
And I like foreign stuff. That's what I like to watch and read the subtitles. Those actors are not like the young actors of today. The young actors of today are reading lines and they get hired.
Yeah.
And they're about as believable as a rock,
Yeah. The Rock.
I can't watch it. I find it upsetting, really. That's not acting. That's just memorizing lines and delivering them, period, over and out.
Or reading them off cue cards.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
It really is. That reminds me, we had Zsa Zsa Gabor on Empty Nest.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most exciting week. And she only had one line. And she was flying back and forth because David Letterman or who was in love with her, just wanted her every week. It was just charming. And she had one or two lines that she just couldn't get it right. And Charlie, the stage manager, brought up a poster that went from his chin to his tennis shoes with her lines on it. And she looked over there at it in front of, all the producers and everybody and said, oh, no. She said, it's not that I cannot remember my lines. You people are so stingy, you never sent me a script.
Oh, it's funny.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's probably Johnny Carson or somebody. I know she used to be on his show a lot.
It was, yeah. Somebody was having was in love with her and was flying her back and forth all the time, and so it was that week. So I know she was busy. I just thought it was just a great line. She was a trip. So many people that I got to meet. Means the world to me. Danny Thomas, Eddie Bracken.
Mm-hmm.
That was meaningful. All that was very meaningful to me. I loved Estelle Getty a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. God, she was a trip.
They were the best, yeah, and they're irreplaceable,
They really are. I don't see anyone with that kind of talent anymore. I was crazy about my producer, Paul Witt, but he recently died unexpectedly. He had pancreatic cancer, and it got him. And I was devastated. He and I still talk. I would call him every now and then. And he always remembered my birthday, so sweet. Always. Our birthdays were very close together,
Mm-hmm. I noticed your birthday is like 2 weeks after my dad's.
Yeah, beware the Ides of March.
Yeah, he's March 4th, 1957.
And I'm 50. Yeah. What do you do all day?
Recovering from my car accident, and I do law podcasting, and I'm just trying to move out to Los Angeles, but it's so tough now, with the rents and everything, but I'm not giving up hope.
I check Los Angeles real estate every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss. I go to Zillow. That's the only place I go because it's easy for me to operate. Those people, they lost their mind. They lost their damn mind. They lost their mind.
I know. Same way in the Bay Area, too. That's why I left and came up here and stuff.
Oh, is the Bay that yes, I've heard that $100,000 in the Bay Area is a poverty wage.
My mom and I were homeless for a couple of years.
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm glad you persevered.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty bad.
Well, what'd you do?
I crashed on people's couches. I for the first 6 months I didn't have a job, and then I did, and then I made lots of money, and I put it all down my throat with booze, and that's what led to my accident.
Oh, Tommy, did you get legally in trouble?
No, I didn't get in trouble. The guy who drove me, he got into trouble.
Oh, he was driving.
Yeah, he was driving.
Oh, I see. Well, I quit drinking 3 years, 6 months ago. 3 years, 6 months. And I'd rather be drunk, I'll tell you.
4 years, 4 years and 8 months for me. 4 years and 8 months for me that I've quit drinking.
Yeah, good for you. I found it easier to quit drinking than to quit smoking. I found drinking was easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For me. But anyway, I don't miss it. I don't miss it. I missed it really hard for 3 days, and after that, I was okay.
I smoked for about a year when I was 19, and then I just gave it up, and I never went back to it.
Good for you. Good for you. I smoked heavy for years and years and years, and really regret it now. Boy. And it was hard for me to quit, really hard. I quit in 98, I think. 98, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had done the Broadway version of Biloxi Blues before the movie.
I did. Yes, I did.
I found out that many actors were a part of that run, but who was in your cast particularly?
Matthew Broderick.
Okay, he was Gene at that time. Okay.
He was a doll. Listen, what a funny guy. He was also, I got to know him more on the movie than I did on the stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's those other boys, I don't remember all their names.
I do.
Well, you do. Well, they were lovely. Really, really lovely boys. Is all I remember. And Matthew.
Mm-hmm. Did Mike Nichols see you in the play and decided to put you in the movie?
Let's see. Dean Sachs found me at some sort of Chelsea reading room thing. And the next thing I know, I'm in the movie. I really don't know how that happened. I auditioned for it, and it was weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks before I'd forgotten about it. But I think it was that Chelsea reading room thing that what done it. And my parents were just so excited over that. You know, that was my first big thing, and God, my so excited, and they came to visit. I think we were in Fort Smith. Where were we? Fort Smith, Arkansas, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Where we were is where we were, and let's see, Christopher Walken. Also, I opened my mouth to speak, and my cheek twitched. Nothing came out, and he was lovely about it. So I was really, really, really a beginner way back then, because that was my first big thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you and Matthew Broderick had great chemistry in that scene because you're both.
Oh, yes, he's just wonderful, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just darling. I miss his acting. I think he's just great. And he's so witty. I can't tell you how witty.
Yeah.
Boy, he's just clever.
Yeah, you both are in sync with each other in that scene, and I love your reaction to him saying, "Very nice to meet you," and walking in, and you're standing there with that cigarette.
Yeah. My daddy came to the play, but he didn't go to the movie. He wouldn't go to the movie.
Oh.
Well, you know, it was see-through underwear, and Daddy didn't like that.
Yeah. I've always loved that scene, especially, I loved it even more after I lost my virginity to an older woman, so I can relate to it more after that, you know, because just like him, I was telling her white lies, too.
I love it.
Yeah. Then you did the movie Vibes.
Yes, they made a friend with Googie Glass, and he and his wife are two of my favorite people in the business. I just love them both.
I reached out to Googie last year. I never heard back from him.
Well, he's got a family, and I'll mention it to his wife. I'll mention that to his wife. And,
oh, that would be so nice.
Yeah, I just love them, and I love her mother, and she did a play, which I've never seen, from my grandmother's mother unto me, I think it's called. And she shopped that around for a long time. She also wrote a movie. I don't know if she wrote it or what, but she got Lee Smith, one of my favorite authors. She got the rights to do it. It was one of Lee Smith's books. And it just never happened, but it should have.
Yeah.
Hollywood's tough, man. It's tough.
It is.
You know, and Lee Smith is a great writer who should have more. More of her stuff should be done. But I think we went through a big period where the South just was not acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, I really do. It just is not. It's so politically incorrect down here that, I mean, that's just the truth. You know, it's just the truth.
Yeah.
Liberal, you know, liberals to accept how conservative it is here.
Yeah, it's always been conservative, you know, in many southern areas, and I guess that's why it was unacceptable for a long time.
Yeah, it was very unpopular. I think it's coming back around now, but barely. Just barely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. But I read. Oh, go ahead.
There's a book that is the only treatise ever written on this, to my knowledge. It's called The Mind of the South.
Mm-hmm.
Written in the 40s, and the guy, I think his name is J.W. Cash. And Mr. Cash uses the N-word consistently.
Mm-hmm.
But which is why the book cannot be considered anything. But it is, because it says that what holds the South back is the religious right, and we'll always hold it back. And so far, that is true.
Yeah. But I read Cyndi Lauper's book, right? And she said in the book there was a lot of politics behind the scenes of the movie Vibes.
Really?
Yeah. Oh.
Boy, I didn't know that.
Oh, I'll tell you.
With some great old character actors. Joe Perry was his name. I'll never be dead now. He was great. He was a gambler, and he won the pool that day on a ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he looked like a little kid. He won a couple $100. And then another guy got in trouble with the director, and I forget why.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just hilarious about it. They were older men, character actors. Adored them. Just adored them. Those were my first character actors, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I adored them.
Well,
anyway,
we'll check.
It was an experience.
We'll check this out. She said that in the book that Ron Howard was the original director, you know, because Gans and Mandel wrote the movie, and Dan Aykroyd was going to play Jeff Goldblum's role, but Aykroyd didn't want Cyndi Lauper in the role because he didn't think he had chemistry with her, and the studio insisted on her, so he withdrew, and then Goldblum came in, and then there was like an argument every day between him and Cyndi Lauper on that film.
Am I allowed to say his behavior was appalling?
Oh, go right ahead.
It was I've never seen anyone that unprofessional in my whole career.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about him, but you're like maybe the second person I've heard say negative about him. Wow.
I didn't like it. But now, I was young, and what did I know? And I was a beginner, and probably not fair for me to. It's not professional for me to say anything, but so I'll leave it at that.
I get it.
Yeah. But, no, and I don't dislike him, or, I forgive him and stuff. It wasn't that big a deal to me. I didn't realize that the issue was her.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that at all. And thank you for that, because that explains a lot. And I just thought he was that way. I didn't know if there was an issue. So there, you've explained a big mystery to me. Thank you, Mr. Kovac.
Of course. Of course.
Thank you. Really, yeah.
You had a role in Mississippi Burning, which is a great movie.
Baby, and I got critical acclaim for that tiny part from Judas Priest, and Who was a guy? Names go first. Mother always said. Rex Reed. Yeah, baby.
Rex
Yes,
Reed.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I sure did. That was a good movie, too.
Gene Hackman.
And the cameraman,
Mm-hmm.
who was the sexiest thing I ever saw, won the Academy Award for cinematography that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, lived in France. Yeah.
That year, Gene Hackman was nominated for an Academy Award, and he lost to Dustin Hoffman for Rain Man. And they're both very close friends. And Dustin Hoffman said that he nearly wanted to refuse his Oscar and give it to Gene Hackman because he was critical of his own performance in Rain Man.
Oh, how darling.
Yeah.
I met Al Pacino at a audition,
Mm-hmm.
and I adored him. I mean, I thought we hit it off like a house of fire. That movie was never made. It was going to be him and Jerry Warbacher. It was a four-hander, those two and the wives.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie was never made. And I loved it. The names go first, but anyway, that movie was never made, and I just adored him. Oh, I adored him. I adored him. I adored him. I adored him. Oh. Yes. Yes.
Did you get to talk to Gene Hackman at all on Mississippi Burning?
He's not the warm and fuzziest guy.
Yeah.
But he's wildly professional, and it was just the one thing, so I didn't have any really other interaction with him at all.
He's so present and in the moment in his acting.
Well, they all are, those guys, Pacino and De Niro. That's a different, although, now I do like me some Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
I love it when he plays a crazy person.
Yeah.
He's so good at it. That movie, Snatch, I think I've watched it 3 times. It's the funniest thing I ever saw.
Oh, did you see the new one he just did with Quentin Tarantino?
No, I can't wait. Is it out?
Yeah, it's been out for a month now, and I recommend it. It's a masterpiece.
Okay, what's it about? Because it's about Charles Manson. I'm not going.
Okay, it's not about actually Manson. This is what.
So I don't have. When somebody was playing Sharon Tate, I just zoned out. So
No. It's about.
Is it just about Hollywood?
This is what it's about. It's about Leonardo DiCaprio is a has-been TV star, and Brad Pitt is his stuntman, and they're both, struggling to make a comeback in 1969, and Tarantino basically dangles Sharon Tate in front of the audience to make them think that the whole Manson thing is going to happen, but it never does. Instead, the Manson girls and the guys try to go after those two guys instead of Sharon Tate, and they live next door to her, and so that's what the movie is about.
Oh, that's bizarre.
But you only see Charles Manson for like 30 seconds on screen, and that's it. But he's not the focal point of the story. This is like a what if fantasy movie.
Well, I will tell you that my mother was an English professor,
Mm-hmm.
and she was very into sexual imagery, so they called her Mrs. Robinson. And she saw Pulp Fiction.
Right.
And she thought that boy was the biggest genius in the world. And she said, Samuel L. Jackson's speech was the Sermon on the Mount. Harvey Keitel was the Deus Ex Machina. She was an English professor, you see.
Mm-hmm.
She loved that child. She thought Quentin Tarantino was the smartest thing in the world. And I'll tell you something. My father was an old Southern man.
Mm-hmm.
He was well past 40 when I was born, I'd say. And we're not sure he had 3 birth certificates, but died at 100, you'll have to give him a little bit of room for error. It was the South, and, he was not racist enough to vote for Jesse Helms, but he was upset about voting for a Catholic. Okay?
Right.
That's how strict the South. I mean, I'm sorry to tell this on him, but
It's okay.
I went home one day and somehow Spike Lee, I brought up Spike Lee, and they just turned and were lit up like Christmas trees. And I said, y'all like Spike Lee? Yes. They both loved Spike Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked at Daddy. Love Spike Lee. I mean,
Yeah.
the power of Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Love Spike Lee.
Oh, yeah. He's done some good movies.
He's done some great movies. That documentary he did on Katrina,
I didn't see that. I heard it's good, though.
that's one of the best things you'll ever see. It's really memorable.
I'll eventually check it out.
Yeah, now there's a movie that is sticking with me that I just saw. It's Italian, and it's called Burnt Money.
Mm-hmm.
It's awfully good, if you haven't seen that.
Burnt Money.
Burnt Money.
I'll check that one out, too.
Yeah, okay. I got that on Amazon on Strand.
Okay, I got Amazon.
You've got Amazon with Strand. You have to buy the Strand thing. I think it's $4.99 or something. And there it is. It's called Burnt Money. Boy, is that a doozy. You know how movies leave you and some things stay with you, but mainly they leave?
Yeah.
This one doesn't leave on any level as a movie. It's just tremendous. Not everybody's cup of tea may not be yours, but boy, they're good.
Nice. Nice. You worked with Oliver Stone on talk radio.
Oh, I love me some Oliver Stone.
What's he like? Because I've heard he's nuts.
I don't know if he's nuts, but he's mean as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wouldn't have it. And the girl that auditioned in front of me came out with tears in her eyes and said, he's a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And so that's what I went into, And there he was, shuffling hundreds of 8x10s across his desk, and 2 or 3 guys in there. John was in there, and I've always loved John. John had a good career. Red-headed Irish boy, John. Oh, gosh, he was in a lot of things.
I'll look it up.
What's his name, John? Anyway, they were just being fat boys,
Mm-hmm.
And Oliver kept moving his pictures around, not paying a bit of attention to me. And then
John C. McGinley.
Huh?
John C. McGinley.
John McGinley, very good, yes.
Yeah.
John was sitting there being an asshole with some other boys, and Oliver was being an asshole, and he said, stand up, and I said, fuck you. And I got the part.
Nice.
And I adore me some Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just wonderful. He has that all great directors, I'll tell you something here now, all great directors
Mm-hmm.
have an electrifying, charismatic pulse. And you rise to your highest ability.
Mm-hmm.
There's no putting your finger on it. You just do. Because there's something about them that brings it out of you.
Right.
And it's magic. It's really magical. And Oliver is magical. He's mean as shit.
Yeah.
But, you just with that, and he's great. He's just great.
Yeah.
Look at what he's done. He's done great. I tried to join his Facebook, but he's got over 300,000 people on there.
Yeah. Talk radio is like one of those movies of his that doesn't get brought up as often as like Platoon and Wall Street and JFK and all those?
Not at all. No, no. It certainly doesn't, and that's unfortunate because that was really an interesting point in history, I think. But I really, really love me some Oliver Stone. I love me some Hugh Hudson.
Oh yeah, Hugh Hudson's a good director.
I just had a tiny part, but you rise to it. I can't explain. They had it. He had it. Whatever it is, he has. Oliver has it. Almost all of the ones I've worked for had it.
Right.
You know, really. And it's really just magic. It's just magic.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, when you got the role of Laverne on Empty Nest, was people telling you not to do TV because you were a movie actress?
No, I wasn't that connected. I got that pretty early in my career, and I took it, having no idea it would run for 7 years. You know.
Yeah.
I'd done one pilot for Wit Thomas Harris prior to that was not picked up. So I just assumed, you know, I had no idea that would run as long as it did.
Yeah, me and my grandmother, we watched the show every week from the time it started till the very last episode, and we laughed so hard because as funny as Richard Mulligan and David Leisure is, you know, the women on the show were just fucking hilarious, especially you.
Thank you. And wasn't the dog divine? He
Yeah.
used to be 15.
Oh, wow.
Giving hip replacements. Glasses. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Poor dog.
Oh, and like I said, I got to meet Danny Thomas and Eddie Bracken and just so many people.
God, Richard Libertini was on there once.
I don't know who that is.
He was a great character actor.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Doris, who just died, played my mother. Just great people. Mary Hartman, Louise Lasseter.
Yeah.
Golly, some great actors. And I just went right up to, what's her name? Susan Onspach, who I always loved in the movies. And I just said, did you sleep with Chris Christopherson? And she said, of course.
Yeah.
She's not the warm and fuzziest either. I loved her. I just loved her.
Yeah.
Very garbage, you know, but when you're direct with people, you get a lot of information. That's the people that I met on that were just, you know, and getting to meet the Golden Girls, being right across the lot from them. It's a tiny lot, you know.
A Touchstone, yeah.
We got to see them every day, and that was cool. And one day I walked out in front of Barry Manilow, and I didn't speak. I was so shocked I didn't speak.
Uh-huh.
I got over that after a while, all that not speaking, you know.
Yeah.
Opening my mouth and nothing coming out.
My favorite line you ever said on the show was this one where Laverne tells Harry, I just got off the phone with both of your daughters. One is menstruating and the other has a gray hair growing on her big toe.
Was that a line, really?
Yeah, you did say that.
I can't believe it. Did I really?
Yeah.
It's funny, you know, I adore Jennifer Aniston, and
Yeah.
she can remember every line she ever said. If you give her the line before it, she can remember every line she ever said. And see, I have no memory of that at all.
Yeah. I remember so many lines from stuff, and when I interview people, they're just shocked that I remember it. And a lot of times they don't remember it.
And I said that. I am shocked.
Yeah. The classic.
I am really shocked.
Classic line. I heard Richard Mulligan was a guy who was very private, and he didn't let a lot of people get close to him.
Richard Mulligan was the most professional person I will ever have the pleasure of working with.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen such a gentleman and such a tremendous work ethic. I mean, he set a very high standard for us. It was high.
Mm-hmm.
We worked hard, and he set that pace. He was great. I mean, that was a great man. He said his daddy was a policeman in the Bronx. I believe it was the Bronx, who would read the newspaper and circle words he didn't know. And I think he was a cop.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother, he couldn't figure it. There were 5 boys. If I'm not mistaken, there were 5. And one of them, was Bob, who directed, I think, Kill a Mockingbird. And I think
Yes.
And the way Bob had a career was somebody had a live TV show. TV was live, and the director just walked off, and Bob was the assistant director and took over. And that's how he got in the business. But his mother, they would be in the living room of the apartment, always making trouble, and the mother would be cooking, and she would call out the one that had actually hit the other one, or she would call out, them for doing whatever they were doing. And they were little boys, and they were like, how does she know that? She had a series of mirrors set up so she could see from the kitchen to the living room. Isn't that wonderful?
What, was everyone devastated when Christy McNichol left?
Did she leave? I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. I think by 92 or something, 93, she left.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, because I know she had, her problems with bipolar disorder and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, I tell you, she took up with a girl whose name I think was Marty. And if you ever meet Marty, Christy will be just fine. I love to meet the Marty, and Marty was just great. And great for Christy. And her mother was pretty great, too, Marty's mother. So I guarantee you they're still together. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
That was a great girl, Marty, and Christy will be just fine. As long as that woman is alive, she will be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
During the run of the show, you got to play one of the single moms in Kindergarten Cop.
I did. Yes, I did.
What was that like?
My memory, you have to forgive me. I've just had a heart attack, so.
You've been doing really good so far.
That's right. What I remember from that is bonding with the other single mothers. I remember bonding with those actresses.
Oh, like Heidi Swedberg?
Heidi, yeah.
Yeah.
Heidi.
Kathy Moriarty.
Kathy and I used to stay in touch, and she's one of my favorite people. Kathy's just one of my favorite people.
Oh, yeah, I heard she owned a pizza place.
Yeah, they own a pizza place in a good pizza place in Lily.
Yeah.
The last I heard of Kathy, it was a day off. Sunday's the only day you get off, which is rather tiring. If you're relieved, I don't know how you do that, but at any rate, convinced Kathy to go to a polo game, and she went and met a very rich man and married him. Last I heard, and I just wish her all the best. She was great. Kathy's great.
Yeah.
And so beautiful and so good at what she does.
Oh, yeah. She's really good at playing bitches in movies. She's really good at playing bitches in movies.
Oh, she's good at everything she does. She's just tremendous. A tremendous actress. And see, us old bugs don't get to work anymore, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Really. The European women get to work well into their 80s, but not the Americans. It's a real shame, really.
Yeah, it is.
Because with your experience, you learn more and more and more, and you become a deeper and deeper performer.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Although I tried to get through a movie with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino last night on Netflix, that was just, everybody was sleepwalking, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't that great, but anyway. All right, darling, I must go. I have dinner plans, and we've got to start putting the makeup on early.
Okay, I was curious, really quickly. What made you decide to leave acting and get into environmental stuff?
During Empty Nest, I was on Primetime Live, and we got the Pigeon River cleaned up by half. And that was a big deal. And I enjoyed that much more. I enjoyed that work and the people that I meet in the environmental community. It's just work that I enjoy. I can sit here for days at a computer reading reports on the river from the EPA and from TJ. Why? I don't know. Except that the name part was Next Park, and we dropped the Mac, and they were the yeoman keepers of the park. So I got it honest. It's bonular. That's the truth. That is the truth. So it's just something that I don't know. Andrew Vax, the great novelist, said to me, "What you do isn't real." And that hit me very hard. And he's right. And so the work I do now, to me, fills me up, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Also, keep in mind the business changed. It turned into reality shows.
Reality shows, streaming, all that crap.
What is streaming? I've never understood that. What is that?
Well, that's what Amazon and Netflix is. When you're watching it on your computer, it's called streaming.
Oh, streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, well, what does that mean?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Me either. So, well, you're a doll, Tommy Kovac.
Oh.
I appreciate this very much.
I appreciate you very much too, Park. Maybe, in the future we can talk again about stuff we didn't get to, but I'm glad that we got to at least talk today and break the ice.
And I will mention this to Googie's wife and see what we can do about that.
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you so much, Park, and I hope you have yourself a great day.
Got me anytime, Tommy.
Okay, I sure will.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Park overall. Ain't she a sweetheart? I think she is just one of the loveliest ladies I have interviewed on this podcast, and I have interviewed a lot of lovely ladies. I like Park an awful lot, and I loved her stories. And I'm glad we got to share perseverance stories, because we both been through it. And I love to talk to guests with perseverance stories as well. And so I'm really glad that I got to do this interview. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.